Protesters on Burnaby Mountain have until later today to leave and make way for workers from Kinder Morgan. An injunction has been granted by BC Supreme Court, which says camps and blockades need to be removed by 4 o'clock this afternoon. They're protesting against surveying and drilling being done in the conservation area. The company says it needs to complete the work for its submission on the proposed Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion. The convicted sexual offender accused of murdering teenager Serena Vermeersch is scheduled to appear in court in Surrey later today. Raymond Lee Casey has a long criminal history and was the subject of a police warning last year. 43-year-old has been charged with second-degree murder in this case. He has spent most of his life behind bars for sexual assault, forcible confinement, robbery, theft, and other crimes. The body of 17-year-old Vermeersch was found near some railway tracks in Fleetwood in September. She's been reported missing the day before. Women are about to have a stronger voice at Vancouver City Hall. Half of Vancouver's new city council is now comprised of women. That is being celebrated by at least one local group. Women Transforming Communities is describing the result as a breakthrough. 5 women will now be sitting on council. They consist of Heather Deal and Andrea Reimer of Vision Vancouver, Elizabeth Ball and Melissa DiGenova of the NPA, and Adrienne Carr of the Green Party. The group is calling on councillors to focus on issues like helping immigrant women, ensuring fair wages for women, and developing better affordable housing. Vision Vancouver still holds a majority on City Council, with the NPA gaining 1 seat, bringing the total to 3 for the NPA. They still don't have enough votes to affect rezoning decisions, but it is enough to be consulted on financial rulings. The 3 councillors are optimistic for a little more balance during meetings.
Most of the issues that will be affected will be financially related. With the case of this super sort of majority that they did have, that Vision does not have anymore. So it's really based on the financials and approving the annual reports, approving the budgets for capital and operating.
The NPA is now in control of the Vancouver Park Board, and commissioners say they'll use their new majority to overturn a breeding ban at the Vancouver Aquarium. Back in July, the Vision-controlled Park Board voted to stop the breeding of whales and dolphins unless they are endangered. The aquarium then filed a legal challenge against the resolution, saying it interferes with its day-to-day operations. The NPA says it will stick to its campaign promise to reverse the decision.
That's the position of the party, and that's what we ran under. So I think it would be disingenuous to do something other than that.
Voters are being praised in Vancouver for a high turnout at the polls. The city saw a big increase, with an estimated 44% of eligible people casting ballots. That's up from 35% in 2011 and ahead of the city's goal of 40%. Some polling stations even had to be kept open longer than scheduled to accommodate. The re-election rate was also very high throughout the Lower Mainland.
Certainly there were upsets, New Westminster, Mission, Victoria, outside of the Lower Mainland. But what I'm struck by is the degree to which people seem to be happy with the status quo.
A Nebraska hospital announced this morning that an Ebola patient being treated in its biocontainment unit has died. Dr. Martin Salia contracted the disease while working as a surgeon in Sierra Leone. He arrived Saturday to be treated at the Omaha hospital, where 2 other Ebola patients have been successfully treated. Canada's response to the Ebola crisis is being praised by an international children's emergency organization. UNICEF's chief of crisis communications returned from Liberia 5 weeks ago. She says Canadian-made experimental vaccine is one of 2 frontrunners in the fight against the virus, which has killed thousands of people. The group adds it's important people focus on facts, not fear, and give full support to the cause.
Now in a situation in Liberia where the cases have gone down and there are even empty beds, but our work in the community is really critical, because prevention and work with the community is absolutely at the heart of this epidemic.
A cold and slippery start to the work week in Toronto this morning as a deep chill has descended on the city. The snow started during yesterday's 110th annual Santa Claus parade, and it is yet to melt. Flurries are in the forecast all week long, and along with the snow, Toronto residents can expect below seasonal temperatures. Overnight temperatures with wind chill values will be at -15, with the coldest day expected on Thursday. Let's not complain here. All right, let's talk sports at 7:05. Next weekend, CFL Division Finals are set. In the West, Edmonton will play Calgary. In the East, we'll see Montreal visiting the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Finals were decided after yesterday's matchup between Montreal and BC in the East Semi. The Lions had a rough game, to say the least. They lost 50-17 to the Alouettes. The Leos' season ended with just 2 wins in their last 8, including the one-sided losses to Calgary and Edmonton to end the regular season. We'll still enjoy Grey Cup in this town, if not with the Lions. Weeks after appearing to be recovering from a stroke, sad news from the family of Gordie Howe. It looks like Gordie Howe's health has taken a turn for the worse. Mr. Hockey's son, Mark, says he's not doing well at all. The 86-year-old suffered a stroke at the end of last month and had initially been improving better than expected. Now Mark says his father's situation is headed in the wrong direction.